is like some of that back there. You want to do a couple of them?
Well, I mean, we can just walk around. So,
Give a little tour. Oh, you want to do it? All right.
our ordinances are so quaint because the weirdos that come into Los Angeles and Brooklyn are just like.
All right, so this is where it all starts. The RMS mill, we load the grain up into the top of it, shoots up a vertical auger into the grist case, and it gets stored there generally overnight. Come in early the next morning and shoot that grain up that white tube, the flex auger.
It's all still dry at that point?
It's all still dry at that point, yep. So, up here on the brew stand, this is the mash tun with a little bit of rice hulls left on it. So, right here is where we mix the dry grain with the water.
Okay.
It swirls around and it drops down into the mash. Drops into the mash tun, already wet. Mixes around until it fills up. So this is where all the enzymes react and convert starches into sugars. That then gets drained down into boil kettle while we rinse clean water on top of it. So just for layman's terms, half the water starts mixed with the grain and the other half gets washed down on
It
top.
hadn't started fermenting at all.
Oh, not at all. No. So in here is where you get the full volume.
Right.
We boil it all up, add the hops, add other adjuncts, fruit, things like that. And once that is done with its boil process, we will recirculate it to create a big whirlpool. All of the solids will coagulate into the center, and then we draw off of the side to get the clear wort. Okay. So at that point, it's still called wort. It's not actually beer. Sure. It's not beer until you add yeast to it.
Right.
So still very hot. The wort comes up through this pipe. You can see it right here in the sight glass. You can see how hot it is right here. It comes into our two-stage heat exchanger.
How hot do you want to get it?
Well, it's boiling,
Okay.
so it's 212 degrees roughly. Generally, usually about here at this area, and for the amount of sugar that's in the beer, it generally boils somewhere between 209 and 210.
Okay.
Comes into the heat exchanger, and opposing flows of cold water, every other plate, and very hot wort pass each other and exchange heat. So the water coming into this side is 34 degrees, and it leaves at somewhere between 130 and 150. Gets pumped back into
How long does that take?
to knock out. About 30 to 40 minutes or so. The other side of it here, so we still have wort that's a little bit warmer than we want. This side gets hit with 27-degree glycol.
Okay.
So where it exits here, we're shooting for somewhere between 70 and 80 degrees. This right here pumps oxygen inline into it. So we're aerating the wort, which gets pumped into one of our currently 4 fermenters, but soon to be 6. The fermenter is where we add the yeast.
Right.
So in one of these big tanks, we will get the temperature to where we need it to be to pitch the yeast. Drop all of the yeast from the top and close it up and let all of our trillions of hardest workers go to work.
Excellent.
So generally 3 to 5 weeks on average, depending on the beer. 5 being actually probably pretty far out of it. The beer will be done. If it gets dry off, fruit added to it, whatever. It'll happen in these tanks. All of the yeast and other solids will eventually settle down here in the cone.
Okay.
You'll dump that off from time to time to keep as much clear beer in there as you can. And then when it comes time to pull the beer out, you pull it out from here. And this is a racking thing. So the direction of this nozzle tells me the direction of the curved pipe inside the rack. So if it's down, it's straight down, which is how it starts when we first start the fermentation. To pull beer out, we'll generally pull it a little bit above horizontal, sort of like this.
Right.
And we'll pull clear beer
It'll get
out.
more clear, so the sediment cells down the bottom and
Right.
picking that up.
Now, so if it gets filtered, pump it around into the PAL filter.
Okay.
And then it goes into the bright tank over here. The bright tank is digitally controlled with a Maheen unit, so we can set the level of carbonation and the
love the
temperature
wizard
that
on
we
that.
want it. Yeah, right. So once it's in here,
Yeah.
it takes about 12 hours to carbonate.
Okay.
So generally we'll put it in the afternoon and then come back in the next morning and it's ready to go. So from there, hose comes out and we either start packaging into kegs or we run a hose over to the canning line and we run cans of beer at about 35 cans per minute
Right.
through this line, which is from Alpha Brewing Ops. And from there, it gets picked up by HED or goes into the cold room for use in the tap room.
Very
That's about the rough and dirty process of making the beer. Back here, this little setup is our small pilot system right now. We're eventually going to have a much bigger one, but it's where we conceive of new ideas, new test batches.
small test runs.
Yeah, just
Okay.
play around.
What do
So
you
right
got
now
cooking
I've got a Berliner Weiss crashing right now, and
Oh, I
I've got
love Berliner Weiss.
and I have a saison
Okay.
that's in active fermentation.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for your tour. Appreciate it.
Cheers.
No problem.